let me first by saying, I know I keep telling you I'm going to go live, but it's really busy. Sometimes I forget. Next thing you know, it's too late. But to keeping up with the transparency, our streak has come to an end. Since May 1st, since I started tracking the 1-minute multi-day VWAP reversals that have been working so well for us, especially on earnings reports, specifically on earnings reports, today the streak has come to an end. So if I was allowed to play music right now, I'll be playing the sad walking away theme from The End of the Hulk. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, ba-da-dum, boom, boom. Boom, ba-da-dum. Boom. And it was Yum Brands. Now, here's the thing. I could take credit for it, but I'm not going to because I lost money on the trade. Now, the idea was that it got through the 1 minute, got through the multi-day VWAP, and then it broke and it went negative. And it was a profitable trade, but then we added to it because there was no reason to think after 127 of them in a row that have worked, there's no reason to think it's not going to work. So YUM is what I'm talking about. And you'll see it right here. You know, again, it was a little bit of a chase, but we shorted it at 94.19 on the original range break. And then it broke our multi-day VWAP, which was 94.11. And then came the coveted reversal at 94.13. So 94.18 shorted a little bit, 94.13, 94.11. And then it started to work. Now, at that moment, when it got down to 93.85, at that point, the streak was alive. But I shorted more at 93.85. Thinking, how could this not go, especially during options expiration, to the next half number or possibly the whole number? And I'm thinking, not only is this an earnings reversal, not only is this a fantastic 1 minute multi-day VWAP trade, but it's also a blow off top, meaning it hit a brand new high and now it's reversing. And there was no way in hell I wasn't convinced that this thing possibly could roll over not just 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents, maybe a buck or two. So I sat with it the whole freaking day, and I finally got stopped out, and I wound up losing money on the trade. So again, join us in the room. Maybe the streak will continue. Maybe we'll start a new streak on Monday. But you know what hasn't failed us yet? Buying put spreads on UVXY, selling naked calls on UVXY, shorting UVXY, and destroying UVXY and everybody that thinks that this is a viable product to protect your wealth. UVXY is a disintegrating asset that not many people still fully understand what it does and how it's priced. It's not based on the market movement intraday. It's based on futures contracts of people that were betting that this market was going to roll over and die. So once the market didn't roll over and die, well, let me backtrack that statement for a second. The market did roll over and die. The people that were buying UVXY at 35 and 40 and 50 and 60 finally won. They made some money. This thing was in the 90s. But then once volatility starts to come out of the market, the UVXY, not only does it start to fall, but it falls in such large increments that it's just fan-freaking-tastic because you could trade options on it. You could short the stock itself if you have somewhere you could borrow the shares. Or you could sell a naked call, which is a little bit more risky because you're taking more risk for a limited reward. But what we do, for instance, for today, we had the 57.50, 54.50 put spread from Wednesday, which was a great trade. But because it was breaking under the bottom of our put spread, we weren't going to make any more money. If you know what a put spread is, assuming that you do, you understand that once the stock goes below the lower strike that you sold, you don't make any more money because was the risk reward scenario of the trade. You're selling the 54.50 to offset the cost of the 57.50, and you're happy that it goes to 54.50. But once it broke under 54, and it tried to rally back above it yesterday and, you know, started rolling over today, we started selling some naked calls. Even into the end of the day right here, we actually caught some 52s that we sold. You know, we're not making a ton of money, but you make 70 bucks here, 120 bucks there, 50 bucks on this other one, $100 on some other one. And the crazy thing is we went out and we've been selling June hundreds, 118s, 119s, 120s. I went out to January of 2020 and looking to sell. I didn't get them done today, but if you go out all the way to January 2020, you could sell, and somebody, I love this trade, somebody sold about 60 135 calls for about $5. So that guy took in about 30 grand. And what he's doing, I'm assuming nobody in their right mind is buying a $135 call for January of 2020. I'm assuming that guy sold 60 contracts for $5 at $5 a contract. 10 contracts get you $5 grand. So 60 contracts, let's call it what? $30,000. So he's betting that the UVXY will not go above 130 for this entire year all the way till next January. So basically a year from today, a year from this month. That's $30,000 that he'll make as long as this thing doesn't go back above 135. I like that action. So again, if the market crashes, and here's the thing about UVXY, remember, UVXY goes up in the heat of the volatility. It precedes the volatility, in fact. Sometimes when the market's actually in the moment and it's crashing, volatility comes out of the market because you're already in. Remember, it's kind of preceding the move. So then once the market starts to recover, the UVXY quickly and just unbelievably gets destroyed. And you need to know how to profit on that because you can make a living trading UVXY. You really can. Now, for the rest of the day, sucked. Now, you might laugh at me, and again, be my guest. I had some levels on Amazon, okay? And our multi-day VWAP said Amazon would be a buy at 160, 162750, okay? 162750. If you look at the chart on this morning, so today we came in thinking maybe we should buy some Amazon as long as it gets back, stays above 160, 162750. Didn't get that exact price, but once the stock broke above that 160.35, we bought a couple of shares. And I'm not joking, 2 shares. And then we were convinced that we were on the right side of this trade. We bought a little bit more at 1640. And our target, using the VWAP and the multi-day VWAP and all that fancy stuff that we love so much, our target at the time, and I know this is going to be hard to believe, our target was 166,250. That's where we sold the stock. So we were long from a cost average, let's call it 1635, and we sold our whopping, I think we, at the total at one point, I think I had 27 shares. But 27 shares, you want me to do the math for you. So 166250 was where we sold it. Our entry price was an average of 16, let's call it 1640. It's 22 points on a whopping 27 shares. I didn't make the whole amount because I was selling it in little increments, but I made about $440 on 27 shares of Amazon. And at that moment, I should have just walked away because the rest of the day was a shit show. Grinding it out, couldn't find any momentum. If it wasn't for Amazon and UVXY, we might have actually lost money today. PCG looked like it was going to bust out, failed. Then we thought maybe we'd go short, failed. Then we tried to go back on the long side, failed. AXSM, missed it, chased it, wound up losing money on it. We had Ameren long, complete failure. We had US Steel long, complete failure. We had Cron long, and then we had it short, wound up losing because Cron never goes down. And then finally Cron rolled over. We made some of our money back. UGAZ sucked a big one. And then, of course, the YUM, which kind of sucked. But again, it's just one day. And right now, we are not long anything except Cron, of course. Again, I don't know if I've mentioned Cron long over the last 2 years enough to convince you that maybe you should have bought it. I'm not a huge fan of you buying it here at 20, especially because it's gone from 750 to 20. Right in Andrew Left's face. And Citron Research with their fantastic calls on Shopify and UBNT and the other 13 things that they got wrong and continue to get wrong. I'm not bitter. I just feel bad for you guys out there that get suckered out of your money based on this criminal's activities. So, all in all, I still find liquidity to be the way to go. And look, I understand. We just had the greatest January in the history of mankind, right? Was anybody guessing right? Did anybody get it right? Nobody got it right. Not me, not this guy, not that guy over there. Nobody got it right. Goldman Sachs was telling everybody to stay cautious and be in cash. Most people were looking for this market to roll over and get worse. Nobody got it right. Nobody. But being liquid and just doing what the market tells you, still think that's the way to go. So anyway, if I had a bet on the weekend, obviously I'm taking New England -2.5. I'll be rooting very, very hard for that bet to lose, but I will put $250 on New England for them to cover the 2.5-point spread, because I think the score will be 31-17 if it's that close at all, because God, if there is a God, apparently is a New England Patriots fan, because the joke's on us. I mean, I don't even like football anymore, and I'm a Jets fan, so it's just disgusting. But good luck. Have a great weekend. I hope you enjoy the Super Bowl. Don't get too drunk. And right now I'm feeling healthy as a horse. I still got a big gash in my stomach that's healing up right now, but Quado has been released and the demons have been exorcised. This house is clean. All right, y'all. Have a great weekend and enjoy the Super Bowl.